Hello and welcome to OTR Debate, the podcast where three lawyers debate everything while managing to find out how it all comes back to the law. Now, normally we'll take two sides of a pop culture issue, but in this one, since we talk about aliens quite a bit on this podcast, and I think we all kind of like the films of Adam Sandler, at least his early work and maybe some of his later stuff.
Yeah.
I thought, why not take a cue from the podcast Unspooled and come up with movies to show to aliens to basically say, like, hey, you want to know about famous comedian Adam Sandler and comedy person? Here are three movies that tell you everything you need to know about.
Because that's who we want to tell aliens about. Adam Sandler.
Absolutely. Is there a goal in mind of like trying to save humanity or like
just education?
Okay.
He did recently come out with Spaceman. That was kind of a outer space kind of thing.
Could be
so
1 year.
Maybe as he's traveling in space, his movies get to aliens.
Yeah, maybe.
Hopefully not.
Well, I mean, if that's one of your picks, then so be it. But let's introduce our debaters on this issue, and I'll have them pick three movies to introduce the aliens. But on one side of the issue, we have Lando.
Hi, I'm Lando. I'm a prosecutor.
And on the other side, we have Huy.
Hi, I'm Huy. I work in state government.
And I'm Mucci, and I will be judging this episode. So why don't you give me your three movies? Whoever wants to start.
Sure. First off, Adam Sandler, as we were going through the list of his movies, I didn't realize how many I loved and how difficult this decision would be in picking our movies. I think we probably had the same problem.
Yep.
But he might be one of my favorite actors after seeing the movies he's done. And then
the audience will think that too.
Yeah, and then on top of it, seeing like, okay, so it's not just him, because he's got his buddies that always do his movies who are also funny, and it's like then he starts in their movies. So, but I ended up with three movies, Big Daddy being the first one, because Big Daddy being a movie where they're all lawyers in that movie, that was like one of the movies where, and I think I've talked about it on the pod before, like made me want to be a lawyer, somewhat. And then my second and third kind of tied together, Wedding Singer and 50 First Dates. And they're together because opposite of Adam Sandler is Drew Barrymore, which is, I've never seen a better on-screen couple, I think. They're always great together in every movie they've done. So those are my three movies.
All right, what do you got, Huy?
So I would go with Little Nicky. Which
starting strong.
See, everything's so drastic. I mean,
he has quite the spread of genres and types of films that he does. But yeah, Little Nicky is one of my favorites amongst my friends in middle school and high school.
Yeah, middle school and high school would explain it.
Mr. Deeds is always a great one, which I just recently learned is a remake, and I had no idea because it's just such a great film. And I reference it quite a lot. And my third one, more on the more serious note, Spanglish. Still a rom-com, but more showing his like drama side of things.
Is Little Nicky a rom-com? With the dog, maybe?
Was it called an action fantasy? What? Something like that?
Yes. It was, let me look real quick. So it was an American action fantasy comedy film.
Okay.
Is what Little Nicky is described as. I think aliens will get a good idea of what humans are all about. Mm-hmm. Even if I just had to choose one, Little Nicky, I feel like it's pretty representative of the human race.
Now, do you have any honorable mentions you want to shout out for either side?
Yeah, I'm between two, and I think I'll go with the animation side and say Leo, which came out last year, 2023. He voices the lizard that is going through like an existential crisis of thinking he's about to die because he's 75 and no, lizards live to like 100 or something. He's like, no, I'm good. He goes to the wild where you can like drink out of like a stream or something after being kept in captivity in like a children's classroom for decades.
That's not the movie I thought you were going to say when you said animation. There are 8 Crazy Nights.
Oh, no. That's a good one. That's a good one. But I recently saw Leo and I thought it was hilarious. Okay. Like I didn't think that I would like it so much. It was just so funny. It's like,
yeah. Any honorable mentions for you?
Yeah, I think for me, actually, I'm between two sort of other rom-coms. But I think
my other honorable mention was going to be Blended because it's Drew Barrymore again, and like this is they're obviously older, and they've got their extended families, and it was just.
The aliens are just gonna think that's his actual spouse.
Yeah. At this point, Adam Sandler might think it's his actual spouse.
Until they see my honorable mention, Murder Mystery. His counterpart is Jennifer Aniston.
Right.
They just have great chemistry together, and it's kind of a fun like whodunit sort of vibe. Of actually, I think it came out the same year as Knives Out in 2019. So that was like actually a great year of some of my favorite films recently in the last 5 years. With that and Ready or Not, and yeah, those were just 2019 was a good year.
The second one came out last year too.
Yeah, and I haven't seen the sequel yet.
And some might say the last good year.
It's true, and I might be part of that song.
Hubie Halloween.
Hubie Halloween, don't get me started on that one. The thing is with Adam Sandler is he comes out with these movies and you don't really, it's low expectation, high reward. Always for me. Because like Leo, I was watching, I was like, okay, whatever. But then I was like, man, this is fucking fun. And Hubie Halloween, I think we watched it during a Halloween movie marathon. Super good. It's just,
I think you just like never know what to expect with him because I think he has this like reputation of being kind of this dumb humor for
it's still funny
preteens.
Yeah,
but I think my other honorable mention I was with was Click, which like I remember watching it and like tearing up because I'm like, oh my god, like his life is just passing before his eyes, and like you just don't expect that with some of his usual films.
that was too depressing for me.
All right,
you clicked it off.
So quick recap, your 3 movies. Oh, I know, real quick.
I forgot we mentioned so many. I know 50 First Dates, Big Daddy, and Wedding Singer.
And then your 3 week?
Little Nicky, Mr. Deeds, and Spanglish.
Okay. Now, before I fully come to a final decision, I just want to hear a little bit more, so just give me a very brief closing argument on your 3 movies.
Yeah, sure. With 50 First Dates and Wedding Singer, I think that those 2 movies perfectly encapsulate what a rom-com is. The chemistry and history behind those 2 actors and the way that it plays out on screen, I think it does wonders. Wedding Singer has some great music in it, some great comedy that like kind of intersects with the music, which is I'm like always a big fan of. Teaching the little old lady how to dance and rap in the Wedding Singer. 50 First Dates, it's a really good feel-good rom-com. It's something that when I'm feeling down, I always put on. And Big Daddy, I mean, I think it was just, there's so many different elements with so many different good actors some of them are his buddies. Jon Stewart's in it. It deals with lawyers. I think it's a great movie that just kind of all is rounded and truly shows what Adam Sandler's about when he's a little bit more serious but still kind of funny.
Okay.
Yeah, and I would say my 3, in a similar vein, show his breadth, but I think even more to extremes with like the over the top ridiculousness of Little Nicky.
From that to Spanglish.
Yeah, to Spanglish, which is like there's a little funny moments, but it's like so serious of a movie. And like, yeah, from playing like the devil's son to his father who's going through a lot of troubles in his marriage and stuff. And it just like, it shows his acting range. And I think all of these movies, I was just kind of shocked going through his filmography. There's a lot of movies that came out in the same year. And like the 3 of my movies came out within the same, like a 4-year span, which is kind of crazy. Like 50 First Dates and Spanglish came out in the same year. Mm-hmm. And like, the amount of movies he was churning out in the early 2000s or late 90s, like it's just kind of crazy. And I think the movies I've chose have good storylines in the sense that they'll make you laugh, they'll make you cry, they'll, whenever these the other beings watch them, they'll be like, oh, humans are very complicated creatures. And I think that's good.
I also like how, I forget if it came up in an interview or how it came about, but basically in the last like couple of years, maybe like last 10 years or whatever, they called him out on basically Adam Sandler filming movies with his buddies at different locations. Basically, he just wants to hang out with his friends.
Go to Hawaii.
Go to Hawaii and like just at the expense of the movie production, which is like the way to do it. I mean, that's even better than what Jerry Seinfeld does in like going to get coffee in cars with different comedians. So
Lavaz's a copy.
Yeah,
specifically.
yeah. I mean, he doesn't give a shit about the coffee.
Yeah, I think even just like we were talking about romantic interests, like he has such a huge network of other cast members, you know, from Jennifer Aniston to Drew Barrymore to Winona Ryder to like just so many different people, and then
Kate Beckinsale.
Yeah, Kate Beckinsale, and so a lot of my other favorite movies at the same time are from his good friend Rob Schneider, and he often cameos in those too. And
The Animal?
Yeah, and Hot Chick.
Deuce Bigelow.
But anyway, we can get on with your decision.
Sure. Well, first I want to mention that my choice for an honorable mention to send to space would be just the Dunkaccino part of Jack and Jill, because I think that would be very important for aliens to.
Jack and Jill was like a miss.
Yeah, but just the Dunkaccino part. Doesn't even star Adam Sandler actually, but Al Pacino coming in and going, "It's not Al anymore, it's Dunk." And that would be they would really understand our sense of humor. But yeah, I think I'm going to go with Lando's movies. I think personally, I like those movies a lot more. And I find, yes, there's 2 Drew Barrymores in there, and the aliens might think that they're an actual real life couple, but they're both pretty solid, especially Wedding Singer. But 50 Days has a really cool, interesting concept too, which I think is like maybe about as high concept as Little Nicky, but still like kind of grounded in the real world, where it's like obviously this very movie version of Amnesia, but it adds like a really cool emotional depth to it as well. And I think even Big Daddy has like some like emotional moments to it, and definitely Wedding Singer does too.
Yeah.
So I think you have the comedy and drama mixed into these movies really well, which I don't know if you get with like the huge gap between like Spanglish and Little Nicky in terms of laughs per minute, or not. I'm not sure. Maybe I wouldn't watch Little Nicky and not laugh at all. Who knows?
There's a little bit of something for everyone in my films, I think, and maybe in all of his filmography. There's so many things as well.
Yeah.
But
Mucci, what would be your top 3?
Well, actually, I can't believe no one mentioned Happy Gilmore. I think that would be like that's like kind of like an early classic of his. Right. I think that would be. Yeah, and it's just like kind of iconic, you know, like this kind of hockey player playing golf.
Or Billy Madison. I mean,
yeah. Well, and also to get to his dramatic side, very recent, Uncut Gems. About 5 years ago, but that would be if you really wanted to show off his dramatic acting. I think you would put that movie in, and then on the other end of just completely silly and wacky, I think Waterboy. Where you just get him talking in the stupidest voice.
That's really good.
But yeah, I think maybe those are my 3. And obviously mostly skewing.
Uncut Gems is up there for you.
I think just you got to show them the dramatic side.
That
also, I enjoyed that movie.
If you want to have a heart attack, if you want to be highly anxious to the whole thing, the whole movie, kept me on edge to the point where I was like, what am I doing? Why am I watching this? This is too much.
I think all of my picks will show the aliens how stupid humanity can be in some ways.
Yeah.
In various different ways. But I think I'll go with Lando's picks and send those off to space.
Okay.
Yeah. And this has been a tier debate. Thanks for watching or listening.
Bye.
Thanks.